Alright, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Duke Blue Devils Dynasty mode in NCAA 2004. And we are finally back with some more bowl play here. We're finally picking up where we left off in the Independence Bowl against the Colorado Buffaloes here, who have improved from last year. They were 7-6 last year, now they're 8-4, looking to get potentially their 9th win and improve a little bit more from where they were last year. This is a very interesting team in a lot of ways. Very, very interesting. So, just a breakdown of the numbers, I guess, that they have. And this is a very run-heavy team. Now, the numbers that you just saw on the little splash screen didn't indicate that they were particularly, super good at running. I think they were 28th in rush offense, but they've got two running backs with over 1,500 yards and 15 touchdowns between the two of them. And that's not counting their fullback, who also has 10 touchdowns by himself. So this is a very run-heavy team here. They have a scheme that really relies on running, especially in short yardage situations, so that's going to be something tough that we have to look at, being a team that needs to really be strong on third down defensively. It's going to be a big area that we need to focus on. But obviously, we have some numbers on our side, too, that we're not super worried about, okay? We have a team that's typically pretty good at getting to the quarterback. I'm not sure how they've been this year, but obviously we'll look at that later on in the video here. But Carlin Scott also having himself quite the tumultuous year here with almost 20 interceptions. He might hit it in this game, considering how our bowl games have went turnover-wise in the last couple seasons. It's very possible that Carlin Scott breaches that 20 interception number. It goes 20-20 on the year. So this should be a tough game here. I think we're actually pretty fairly matched up here with Colorado. So we'll strap in here and see if we can get our second straight bowl victory, something that Duke has never done. See if we can do that. Or maybe did it in the 40s before color television. We'll say that. So late in the first quarter with time expiring here, quarterback sneak from Colorado. And Matt Parker, the sophomore, is going to get into the end zone here. And that was not an easy gimme quarterback sneak here. This is no tush push. That was at least a good 2 or 3 yards he had to sneak in to get in. But it was a good call here with inches to go. It was either a first down or a touchdown, and it worked out for Colorado in their favor. So now entering into the second quarter here, see if we can get something moving on our offensive side, but it's Colorado once again, but it's going to be a fumble on the ground, and Robbie Curtis, the top running back for the Buffaloes, drops that football on the grass. And we land on top of it. So another quick little look at it here. And yeah, boom. So the first turnover of the game is going, in our favor here, to your Blue Devils in their favor. But we've now punched it here to first and goal. And we're going to hand it off to our running back. And he's going to step into the end zone. And that is Brooke Hansen getting in for his first touchdown of this bowl season. So now we have even things up at 7 apiece here. Still plenty of time in the second quarter, and Colorado's going to utilize that time here as now making up for the mistake he just had. Robbie Curtis out in open space here, and it's a foot race, and no one is even close to catching up to him. You might as well showboat to the end zone when you've got that much of a lead on the next closest defender, and that play just completely blows wide open here for this Duke defense here. And just following the blocks, really had good lead blocks in front of him here. That was the fullback that you saw there, Eric McCormick, who laid down that great block, number 33 for Colorado. Laid down such a great block and really kind of helped pave the way for Curtis to find that open space here. So the sophomore's got himself a big touchdown here. So Colorado up by 7, but we've worked it in here close to the red zone, and Carlin Scott just completely brain farts, doesn't know where to go with the football, and ends up eating a sack and eating some grass as well. So we're going to have to make a decision here on fourth down, probably going to settle and take the points here and at least keep us within one possession of Colorado. So with a chance to maybe take the lead if we can score again. So 10-14 now, your score here late in the second quarter, thanks to Freeman Bray's field goal. So under 2 minutes left to go. Colorado's going to try and run a quick drill here, but instead Matt Parker finds a defender, and that is an interception. So now Colorado losing the turnover battle, as we are now primed with a prime opportunity here late in the first half. Carlin Scott doesn't know where to go with the football and instead finds a Colorado defender, and that is just that's a problem. You can't do that. You cannot do that. So I believe that is, it's the second interception, so it's interception 21 now for Carlin Scott. So, but fortunately we get the ball back, and on third and goal, Carlin Scott with a chance to get even more points wide open in the back of the end zone. I don't know how you leave him that wide open. Kerry Schroeder, our top receiver here, the freshman, the standout freshman, I have no idea how you leave him that wide open, but Colorado's going to pay for it. So now we end up taking the lead here after a back and forth exchanging of turnovers late in the first half. We end up on top here by 3. So now Colorado with a chance on offense here late in the third quarter here. And under pressure is Parker. He's going to get absolutely eaten alive as Ed Williams just seizes right up the middle. It's a late safety blitz here. Parker does not see it coming, and now Colorado's going to have to settle for 3 if they can hit it, and they can here. Or actually, they can't. It's a doink. I thought that they tied it. I remember, or at least I thought that they kicked a field goal around this time, but no. It's a doink. It is a doink. Excuse me for forgetting my own editing, but it's a doink. So the lead remains here 17-14, but Colorado now with a prime opportunity out of the brief intermission here at the start of the fourth quarter with a scoring chance, and on that third down, it looks like we might have gotten in there quickly, and Curtis not able to get to the first down markers. Nick Jackson, one of our big defensive tackles, able to get in there and cause some issues. So Colorado, again, giving their kicker another chance, and this time it is good. Maybe a little bit shorter here. It looks to be about the same distance as the first one was, so maybe things just not working out in the Colorado special teams department. But either way, it is a tie ball game. And now in this situation, time is expiring. It's 3rd and 4. Colorado's just running out the clock so they can kick a game-winning field goal, and Curtis is going to fumble the football again. It's a mad dash to get on top of it, and Duke is going to land on top, and Curtis fumbles the game away for the Buffaloes. Oh my God, all Colorado had to do was just take a knee and they could have kicked the game winner. They didn't even need to run a play there. And now the game comes to an end here, tied up at 17, so we are in overtime. Carlin Scott, back to pass here, throws a prayer of a ball to the end zone. It is going to be caught. One-on-one coverage. He's going to take it every single time, and that pass is completed. I didn't get to see what receiver that was specifically. We might get a replay, I'm not sure, but yes, we do. So that's going to be Michael Holliday, the senior, making one last final big play in his career here at Duke, comes down with it in the end zone, and now we are going to take a touchdown lead over Colorado. That makes things very difficult for the Buffaloes to try and answer back here in the bottom of the inning. As I jokingly like to call it, in the bottom of the inning. So let's see what Colorado can do in their overtime frame here. So on 1st and 10, very first play of overtime, and oh my goodness, Matt Parker, you can't do that, bud. It's Jeremy Rhodes, and he's got a lead on the people chasing him, man. He's got a lead, and is he going to run all the way? No, don't tell me he's going to run the whole way, and he does. It's a pick 6 to ice the game and win it for Duke, our 2nd straight bowl game, and Jeremy Rhodes is on top. So both of our seniors, man, 2 of our best seniors, or at least his biggest contributing seniors. Jeremy Rhodes, one of our best defensive players, just period. 2 of our biggest seniors come up in a major way here in overtime in this bowl game. They said, no, we're ending this. We're winning this one on a high note. We're getting that 10th win this year, and they absolutely do it. So I don't think it was the first play of overtime. I think they got a first down, and then immediately after, Matt Parker throws that interception. So we walk away as winners of the Independence Bowl. Funnily enough, I think this is... I don't know. I believe we lost this game with Bama against A&M in like year 2 or 3 of the Bama series, and so this might be some retribution for that. I don't think we ever went back to the Independence Bowl, so this might be retribution for the Bama series as we were finally able. Fred Kirk was able to do it with the Blue Devils, but Sickney was not able to do it for the Crimson Tide in our worst season at the helm. So just a fun callback. But anyway, so we come to a close here. Colorado, again, their offense, they outplayed us, man. We did not deserve to win this game at all. Terrible on 3rd down. The big thing, though, was our red zone defense. Our red zone defense was absolutely lights out, which is why we won this game, which gave us a chance here. But still, I would say it's a little discerning here that we were only been able to score 17 points in regulation of all of our bowl games. That's something that needs to be figured out. Absolutely needs to be figured out. But it's another trophy for the trophy case. That's obviously a good thing here, helping Fred Kirk with his prestige and keeping the team together here. So we will now get to the rest of the video and see if we can keep that team together and keep on building the program. Okay, so being 2-time bowl winners certainly does change things a bit here, and now we have to go through the rest of the bowl games in the bowl slate here and see what this offseason is going to give us, what it's going to bring us. I like how this bowl screen hides the national championship, because once you guys see it, it is going to be disgusting. So we're going to simulate all the bowls like we did last season and just see exactly what happens. Maybe we get another contract extension, which I don't know if we need one because we're already under contract for like 5 seasons and we still have a few years left on that, or we might get another job offer. So we'll see what happens here. We'll simulate all the bowls and cut back in here. And we do have another job offer. This one does make a little bit more sense here. It is from Tennessee. Tennessee would like for us to come coach in Knoxville. And this is actually, like a pretty kind of cool offer here, because Tennessee, I think, is right in that area of team that I was kind of looking for to jump for. But I don't know, dude. We just spent 17 seasons in the SEC. I'd rather not go back. I'd rather not immediately jump back to the SEC. I think we're going to overlook the Volunteers as a potential candidate here. This is a fun offer, but no. A thing I consider, too, is if I'm really, leaning towards leaving. I could always just search the positions tab, but I think you need to like commit to leaving if you're going to look through them. So I can't just like gloss through the jobs and still keep our job at Duke. I would have to leave Duke and then look through the positions tab. So I'm just going to wait until the game gives me at least a decent enough offer to leave, or we'll just stay with Duke until we win, I don't know, something else, and then we'll just end it and start something new. So, but we're going to decline this offer here, decline that job offer, and that's it. So that's all that's going to happen. And yeah, North Texas is your national champions, by the way. Not only are they your national champions, but this is their second straight season of going, and they beat Miami. So at some point in the last few seasons, North Texas has not only assembled a roster that's good enough to compete with the Power 5 or P6, whatever you think of the Big East, they've also now like good enough to win the national title. So North Texas is your national champions out of the Sun Belt, mind you. So they didn't play a game at all season long, presumably. They just didn't wake up. So hey, but good for North Texas, I guess. So now let's look through the stats here, of course, and move right on ahead. We got another year here at least with Duke. So. Okay, our wide receivers listed here because of the one pass from the trick player. But Carlin Scott was the only quarterback who threw a pass this season here. Another great season from him. The 21 interceptions is oh my God, that's terrible. The fact that we still won 10 games, consider the fact that he threw 21 interceptions, is probably like, I don't know, some sort of divine intervention. That's not great, but I guess I'm happy that it still worked out. Not great, though. So maybe Willie Nixon could have been a better option. I don't know. We'll live with it, I guess. Brooke Hansen, huge fall off running the football here, less than 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns. He came close, though, and then nobody else was really doing much of anything running-wise, so that's a huge step down from where we were with Junior Hicks last season. Kerry Schroeder here are leading our receiving core in pretty much every metric here. He was just the top guy. Everything was just pretty much going to him. I noticed a lot through just some of the brief numbers I was looking at. We really had a tough time offensively this season. We really just did not generate a lot of yards or touchdowns, and the receiving breakdown kind of shows that. So it's really weird. I'm not sure how we won the games that we did. Maybe it's just because of the schedule. I really don't know. But Rasheed Holland's first season as a starter has a great season, so good to get him in the rotation. Ben Quinn here, 8 sacks, not great, but it's a huge step up from where he was last year. And then Javon Battle, of course, in his last season, puts on a clinic, man. Just shows out. Even Sammy Harris, not too bad of a season for him as the freshman. So there's some things to take away here from the offensive line. I think there's some solid performances. Looks like we rotated a good amount of pieces in, either because of injury or whatever reason, but it worked out pretty well for the most part. I think Kevin Kramer's probably the worst performance we had here, but even that, I'll take that. You know what I mean? We'll accept it. So tackle-wise, so we have 2 guys sitting right around 80. Well, I guess 3 technically sitting right around 80 here between Aaron Logan, Kevin Wright, and Jack Middleton. But both Logan and Wright really were productive in the backfield. 9 tackles for loss isn't anything to scoff at either as a linebacker, but 18 to 12 is considerably a little bit higher here. But the sack number. So Kevin Wright really was, it looks like, our most productive defenseman so far this season. He definitely kind of takes the cake here. So we'll sort of all the columns here. Yeah, there's only 2 guys with double digit. Yeah, I don't know why. So it's kind of like last year, or maybe the year before, I can't remember exactly when, I was looking for those outlier stats that, like, showed why we were what we were, and I just, like, couldn't find them, you know what I mean? Or, like, it just ended up becoming the efficiency, But in this season, it's, like, the opposite. We're like, we have terrible numbers. I have no idea how we won as many games as we did. I genuinely have no idea why we won as much as we did. Freeman Braze, the sophomore, finally gets over 70%. Maybe that's why. Maybe there were some games that he won off his leg. I don't know, dude. This is really weird. So now we're going to get to the stat rankings. So, okay, apparently I was just wrong. Our offense was in the top 20 of yards per game, just total yards per game, which I just have zero idea how that's possible. When nobody in our receiving core, no one in our backfield had over 1,000 yards, and our quarterback threw for less yards than he did last year. Maybe this is just a bad year overall in FBS, and like everyone was bad offensively. I don't know. I'm genuinely confused. But offensive yards per game here, we're at 49. So maybe that's the big difference here. You know what I mean? Like breaking it down offensively, where it's a steep fall off when you include everything. But sure. So maybe our defense is really good, maybe, Passing yards per game were 41st. That's still a little bit higher than I thought it would be. Same with rushing yards. I figured rushing would be, like, in the 90s. Like, I didn't think we'd be this high at all. Points per game, maybe 22nd. Passing touchdowns were 15th, so maybe that's where we're at. Looks like, that 23 to 25 range was kind of like the sweet spot, maybe close to 30 on the higher end for some of these best quarterbacks, but first down's 57th. So, yeah, I don't know. A lot of these stats kind of just indicate mid-tier in a lot of ways. We were really great in the red zone, so maybe that's a big outlier here, one of the biggest contributing numbers. Defensively, no, our defensive numbers aren't that great either. We're just kind of middle of the pack, man. The numbers here would indicate that we were pretty mid, that we were fairly mid. In our red zone percentage, we're kind of a mid team, just hanging around the 40s and 50s with some 60s thrown in. We were not an efficient team much at all. Well, the attempts and conversions are bad, but the percentage is decent. So very interesting. Same with fourth down. Fourth down percentage is decent. It's actually pretty high, and the conversions and attempts are bad compared to the rest of FBS. So discipline is sitting right around the 60s. Yeah, I'm struggling to figure out. Oh man, turnovers are bad. So we didn't fumble the ball a lot, but of course we threw a lot of interceptions. There were only 17 teams worse than we were in terms of interceptions. 80th in giveaways though, which is not great, and we didn't generate a lot either. So turnover differential is bad as well. So yeah, it's weird, dude. This is a weird season. I don't really know what to make of it. Heads or tails. It ended in success, so I'm not going to question it. We finally scored more than 17 points in a bowl game. So again, I'm not fully going to question things, but it's weird. It is weird. It's a weird season. All right, I almost forgot. I'm going to go through and record all of the bowl game results and schedule and not scheduling, but standings and whatnot, and then we'll try back in with the off season. Okay, so now it's time to assess the damage from our charmed 10-3 season with an Independence Bowl victory. So, of course, Carlin Scott is getting up on out of here. He is graduating, and we are losing him. Michael Holiday is also graduating, and we're losing him as well. Javon Battle, a big offensive tackle that we've had the last few seasons, he's out of here. Ralph Roundtree, the last of our two great edge rushers that we had between Roundtree and Christensen, he's finally gone. Jack Middleton, another great linebacker. I think our last remaining really good linebacker. I think we still have a couple on the roster around where he is, but still a huge loss in the linebacking core. Jeremy Rhodes, man, one of my favorite defensive players that we've had on this team the last few years. He's finally gone. Ed Williams, this is the year that our safeties are leaving, so safety is going to be a huge area of concern heading into recruiting this season. And then, of course, losing our punter. So this isn't a major class that we're losing. This is the advantage of recruiting, needing a lot of talent through recruiting every single season. It's because you don't lose a lot of guys at one time. We're only going to lose about 9 or 10 guys every single offseason, instead of losing your entire team when you just rely on upperclassmen for your production. So we have a lot of underclassmen who are contributing on the roster right now. So we're not losing a ton of huge key contributors, but guys like Rhodes and of course both of our safeties leaving, those are pretty major. I don't think we have to worry about the receiving core much at all. And I only see Carlin Scott, so it looks like we're going to have Willie Nixon here for at least another season. He might have even been redshirted, maybe. I don't know. He might have already been redshirted. I could just be wrong. I thought they were both seniors this season, but we might still have a year of Willie Nixon left on the roster, so we might be pretty okay there at quarterback as well. So not too many linemen we're losing either, so just replacing Javon Battle I think is easy. So I'm actually pretty jazzed to get into recruiting. I think we might be able to really take a step if this is all that we're losing, because I know we have a lot of guys in a lot of these positions that are stepping up, and an extra year to build depth at the linebacking core, and maybe even I don't know, we have a lot of cornerbacks, so they just need to get a little bit older. But to find new safeties and linebackers, to have a whole offseason to do that, I think we're in a pretty good position. So I'm going to get into recruiting, and we'll see if we can flip this thing around, man. All right, well, this was a failure of epic proportions. I don't know if it could be a lot worse. I don't know how we are increasing the prestige of this program, and it's still getting almost as hard, if not harder, to recruit. It is just impossible. I don't know what it is about Duke and being in North Carolina, but just between all of our pipelines, Virginia, South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, we have nothing, dude. I can't get anything going recruiting-wise. It's just been brutal. I mean, you guys remember how easy it was to start getting blue chips with Bama? I mean, it's not happening here. I don't know, but looking at our signings here, I did grab a 4-star center. We didn't really need a replacement at center, but I just grabbed one because they wanted to come here. Got a brand new 4-star tackle in Leroy Carpenter. We needed to replace our tackle situation, so I was able to grab one here. Got another 4-star linebacker just, to help build that up here. We did, of course, lose a linebacker, so, we need to bring in at least, some of that replacement level talent. That's why we've been able to keep very small graduating classes, because I keep doing that when I recruit, but this season might be derailing that a little bit. So Nate Wilcox here is our 4-star free safety who I got to replace Ed Williams, who is graduating, but you will notice there's only an FS, there's not an SS, so we'll keep going. Got another 4-star center as well, a JUCO sophomore, so maybe these guys might be able to slot in somewhere else on the offensive line. We'll see. Maybe we'll be able to cut some guys who are already on the roster. I'm not sure. Maybe these guys will get cut. Not entirely sure, but I just grabbed them because, there was nobody who wanted to come here this season, or this off-season, so had to grab what I could. Got a 3-star punter. That was the only thing. To start recruiting guys, tackles and punters are the only positions that wanted to come here. I had like 5 punters and like 7 tackles, all like 4-star or lower, that wanted to come here. This is the best punter that wanted to come here, Ryan Gonzalez, and so we grabbed him. And like literally, I swear to God, that was it. The game threw me this 3-star defensive end for some reason. I got another 3-star tackle. I got the other. I was in on both these punters, and both of them wanted to come. So I'm like, screw it, we'll just get them both, and we'll see which one's the better prospect, and just cut the other one. That's how I'm moving right now. Got another 3-star defensive end from Georgia for some reason. Got this 3-star tackle from Indiana, of all places. Game threw me a 2-star linebacker, another free safety, some more tackles. So we have like 9 tackles on the roster now. We're going to cut probably most of them. Got a 2-star guard here, some 1-star guys that the game was also nice enough to throw at me, and that's about it. Like, that's really it. So you see, like, the guys that I was actually targeting that I told you about was maybe like 8 or 9 dudes. And that's about fair. So I guess we'll look at what I missed out on here. I was in on this center. I think we had him for a little bit. We couldn't really get him. Yeah, no, we couldn't even get him to show any kind of interest in us. He ends up going to Virginia Tech, obviously. So that makes sense here. I was in on this linebacker, I believe, as well, and he ends up going to Ohio, of all places. So interesting. But yeah, he goes to Ohio. This was the other free safety I was in on. There was 2 of them, and I ended up getting 1, and then this one ends up going to Georgia, which makes sense. This was the top tackle that I was also, I believe I was in on, and he ends up going to Syracuse. I might not have thrown in many points because it would have been a lot, but he ends up going to Syracuse either way. Yeah, I was in on this strong safety. He never really wanted to come here, and I spent all my weeks, couldn't figure out anything that he wanted. He wasn't even interested. See, look, I tried him all out. He didn't want to come here at all. Ends up going to Virginia Tech. So I tried my darndest, guys. Like, literally, and again, no strong safeties wanted to come here. So in my targets, like my interested prospects screen, this one, in the interested prospect screen, not a single strong safety wanted to come here at all. Like, these are guys that I grabbed, I ended up like targeting, and one went to Memphis and the other one went to Virginia Tech. But during recruiting, this was empty. Nobody wanted to come here. And then in the state of North Carolina and South Carolina, and then maybe Tennessee or Georgia, like 3 of our like 4 or 5 states that we could recruit from, like close to us, didn't even have a strong safety prospect for me to target. This is what I'm talking about recruiting, guys. Like, it's just been brutal. Like, absolutely brutal. It's been nuts. So we'll look at the top classes and see how far we fall here. Texas is at the top spot. Penn State, a little bit of normalcy here at the top. Miami, Georgia, okay, like a bit of normalcy. Then North Texas, the reigning champs, here at 6th. New Mexico State, that was another thing I wanted to mention to you guys. Not only did North Texas win the national championship in the Sun Belt, but New Mexico State was 12-1. Presumably their only loss coming to North Texas. But this is a 2-horse race in the Sun Belt. Just wanted to point that out, that's where the Sun Belt is right now in the sim. Some more normal teams here, all in your top 25. Rice, still hanging on, bro. Rice, 12-2 season, still hanging on. There's nothing to do with Rice, man. It's just funny that they're up here doing this. Consistently, they're doing this. So Tennessee up at 23, so clearly the recruiting was not an issue for them. They figured it out, obviously. They did not need me to come there. They figured it out with whoever they hired. So we're still 33rd here, which isn't bad. We're still sticking close inside the top 50 in terms of recruiting. That's not terrible. I'll take that, considering, the offseason that we had. And look at that. No one around us is getting nearly as many 1-stars, so maybe that doesn't bode well for our future, but I don't know. We're still sticking around here and doing what we can do, trying to keep the team as competitive as we can, and so it'll be interesting to see the roster that we have, because we might have like a 1 or 2 year window with the guys who are currently on the roster to really make some, like, do some stuff, like cause some damage, get back into a conference, but after that, dude, who knows? Because this is a kind of a step back here, or at least a stagnant step for recruiting as far as recruiting is concerned. So who knows how far we might actually fall here in a couple seasons when a lot of these major contributors are gone. So we're gonna head now all the way to training, and we'll chime back in. All right, let's take a peek on through here. The first numbers I'm seeing are not great. These aren't amazing, but it's okay. It's going to get better the further we go down here. Kerry Schroeder up to a 90. I think this is the first 90 we've ever had on the team. or 90 plus. I think we've ever had on the team. I think so. It's promising, I think, here. McGowan's up to 88, so, oh, wow, and Alex Mayer up to an 86. So, yeah, told you it was going to get better the further we went down. Good Lord, this receiving core is going to be nasty, dude. Nasty. It's going to be great. We're probably going to go all in on passing this year, dude. Probably just completely all in on passing. I think it's the only thing that we can do. Oh, my God, defensive tackles is loaded, man. We actually might have a great roster, guys. This might be the one that gets us over the hump, potentially. Maybe. We've got 2 quarterbacks close to 80, so I think we'll be all right there as well. As long as we have guys who can just serviceably throw the football forward, I don't think we can really regress. I think that's the benchmark here for this team right now. So flipping through, there's a lot of numbers here. Not a lot of guys growing or developing as much as we thought. Willie Nixon. So we do have Willie Nixon. Yeah, redshirt senior. So we will be getting a year of Willie Nixon. So I think this is our big year to cash in. I've said that before here, but we did. We capitalized. The last time I said that, we did capitalize. We extended our job here. We got a contract extension, and we were able to get to a bowl game. So who knows what it is this year, because I think the benchmark for us as an independent is still bowl eligibility. Like, that's still kind of where we're looking. But maybe, I don't know, it'll just look a little better. We might just be a little bit better. All right, now I have to go through and cut. There's like a lot of people on this roster that need to get going now. So I guess I'm going to go through and do that. So I'll try back in because there's a lot of guys that need to be cut. All right, guys, it's one of my favorite times of the offseason. We get to look at what this mess of a roster just might be. So, Willie Nixon is going to come back for a senior season. Let's see here, look at the numbers. So, yeah, it looks like he did redshirt last year. And that was probably good. I don't typically redshirt because in these games you typically get a lot of recruits the better you get, so like it doesn't really make sense to redshirt. It doesn't really matter if you redshirt because like you're going to replace them, but obviously for us it probably matters a little bit because now we have Willie Nixon for another season, but we have Dan Skinner, a freshman, behind him at 78, and Will Turner, a sophomore, behind him. So I think we're still good as far as quarterback depth is concerned for at least the next couple seasons. We should be okay there because obviously I think Skinner should at least be up to where Nixon is now as a sophomore next season, so he will probably start for us primarily for the next couple of seasons after Nixon is gone. Donnie McMillan and Brooke Hansen are up to 81s. I was not super impressed with what Hansen did last season, but he's still just the faster of the two, and both these guys will probably get ample amounts of time, so we might be subbing a little bit more this year on offense just because we have the depth at receiver and running back to do so. Fullback here, Jose McClain, up to an 82 as a senior. And then, all right, so Kerry Schroeder's up to a 90, leading the receiving core. London Gray up to an 83. Wes Gardner up to an 82. Toby Miller up to a 79. And all these guys are relatively young here. Our top 3 guys are not, or rather, London Greer and Wes Gardner specifically are not. So we will be losing both of these guys, but we will have Kerry Schroeder for at least another couple seasons. And then we have Toby Miller, who will get up to where probably Garner is by next season as a junior. And then we have Andre Morton, who's still a freshman, you know what I mean? So we're fine at receiver. We are good there. Brock Parham is here for his senior season. He's the last of that kind of goated kind of 3 tight end class that we had the last couple of seasons. So after this year, we will probably be looking to make some major replacements here at tight end. We don't really have anyone behind him outside of Aaron Clement, who should be above 70 by next season, but we might be able to find somebody better in the offseason. But Sammy Harris is holding things down at left tackle as a sophomore. Pat Bullock is going to hold things down at left guard as a sophomore. All right, so we have a whole bunch of centers here. Kevin Kramer is still going to start first at center as a junior, and we have some younger guys behind him, so we're okay there in the foreseeable future. Ben Quinn is going to start at right guard first at 81, and then Alex Mayer is our best offensive lineman at right tackle at an 86. So once again, it looks like the right side of our offensive line is the strong side, and then the left side, it's not bad. I think it's probably the best line that we've had, just on average, because we typically have guys close to like a 70 or something. Like last year we had, I think, a couple guards that were at like 70 or like 72, 73, so it's probably the best offensive line that we've had, so we probably should be doing a lot offensively with that. Pass rush is a bit of a downturn here, so Marcellus Jacobs is a freshman, but we're probably going to swap him out, so we'll see what's happening here. Yeah, okay, so we got to put Brett Turner in here, the senior. He's going to start on the left side, and then Lionel McGowan's going to start on the right side, and Lionel McGowan is a junior, so we might lose him if he has a great year this year. He might graduate, but if he doesn't, then we'll have him for a couple of years. Defensive tackle Khaled Schroeder and Nick Jackson are both juniors and seniors respectively, up to an 84. So we were probably losing a lot on the defensive side of the ball here, at least on the line here. So both of our both lines on the line of scrimmage here, we are great on both sides of the ball. We were pretty great. So got to make a switch here at linebacker, of course. Okay, so we're going to put in Kevin Wright. He's going to start on the left side here as a senior. Aaron Logan's going to start as a junior at the middle, and then on the right side, oh boy, it's another kind of a fall off here. So we're going to see if we can put in Adam Kraft. We're going to start him as a freshman because we're going to have Wright on the left side. So got to mix some stuff around here. We got a lot of depth at the middle linebacking position, but our outside linebackers are really not that great. But as long as you have at least one position loaded, you can fill out the rest, which is kind of what we've been doing here. But once these guys leave, because they're all kind of old, except for Adam Kraft, we might have some questions to answer in the linebacking core. So defense might be a little bit concerning in the next year or so. At cornerback, so Jason Hutchins up to a senior as a 79. Pat Medley is a 75 as a junior. Ishmael Lee is a junior. So these guys are getting up there in age, and we might be seeing a few of them leave. It looks like Wes Gardner's going to be doing some Travis Hunter type stuff this year. Since he's fourth, he'll probably definitely be on the field a little bit this season, I would imagine. So, yeah, so the defense is getting pretty old. That's a big thing to note. So Nate Wilcox is our new free safety, or one of the new guys we just brought in. He's a I think he was a 4-star, but he's going to start for us at a 72. And then strong safety, we weren't able to get anything else. So Jess Bolden, I think is one of the walk-ons that we had, or maybe one of the 1-stars I recruited a couple of years ago, and he's now a sophomore up to a 62. So strong safety is going to be just a gaping hole. We're just going to have to live with it. Freeman Bray up to an 81. Hopefully he just continues to get better. And then we stuck with Ryan Gonzalez as our punter at a 72. So that is how the roster breaks down. I know I took a little bit longer on that because I wanted to assess really and see where we were at in a lot of position groups, because it looks like the offense is still relatively young in certain areas, so I think we are okay there for at least the next couple seasons, but defense is getting pretty old, and we might have a lot of answers or questions to have to answer after the season, so we might really be putting a lot of stock in just this one season. So we'll take a quick glance at the schedule. God, 4-star. Oh my goodness. Oh no. This is going to have to change here. This is going to have to change. I'm going to keep it a little bit more difficult. I'm going to add a little bit better teams here, but 4 ranked games is definitely not what we're going to do as an independent. If we're not in a conference, there's no reason to be playing this many ranked opponents. That's just how it is. So I'm actually going to try and cook this to be very different. I'm not going to try and keep the framework. I'm going to try and cook as much of this as I can. So give me a little second here. We'll probably keep like the ECU game and then the Troy State game, because I typically play that like every year, but everything else is subject to change. So give me a second here. Okay, so the names might not inspire a lot here, but we are still at a 3-star strength of schedule, and it might just be because I still have 2 ranked games on it, but I added a lot of teams that are at least like, I don't want to say decent, like just regular bad, not like awful or like terrible, just regular bad. So like New Mexico, ECU, I guess Troy State. Like those are just regular bad teams that have had decent seasons, but like they're still ranked in like the 70-ish area. And then we have like teams like Houston and I think Cal as well, who are like really bad, like outside of the top 100. Like I think Houston's 112 and Cal's like 107 or something like that. Like objectively bad teams. And then we have some other like decent teams, like Boston College I think is like 30 something in the national rankings. Rutgers I think is like 50 something. So there's some tough games on our schedule. We are ranked, or we're not ranked to start the year, but we are 29th. So we're close to there. But there's some losable games on the schedule already. So we'll probably lose the South Carolina game. We'll probably lose to Wake Forest at the end of the year as well. We could even lose any one of these other games against like a Boston College or maybe even like a Baylor potentially. You know what I mean? Like we could lose any number of those games. So we're kind of teetering on the balance here. I'm giving us a bit of a challenge in a make or break kind of year. I'm doing so because it's not like a huge make or break in the sense that if we don't like accomplish our goals, we're going to like get fired or something. Because no, we still have like, if I could go to our report card here, I think we're still even good. So our job security is an A, and then looking at our contract. So yeah, we've maintained team prestige and win 10 games we've already done in this contract. So we'll probably definitely still get extended, even if the season is like 8-4, you know what I mean? And we still get to a bowl game. Like I think we'll still be fine. So it's just make or break, because without this talent, or with the talent that we have on the roster currently, I'm not sure if we can sustain what we've been doing. And that it's a fear I've had because recruiting's just been so difficult, guys. It's just been so difficult. I've just been kind of, I'm just worried. I'm just very, very worried. So we're going to key on the run here, keep the defensive strategy the same since our defensive line is just so good. It's just so freaking good. And then I'm going to up on the passing scheme a bit because We've got probably the best quarterback and receiving core duo that we've had in our time here at Duke, so now it's time to save and then run our sim. Okay, so an interesting year here. We seem to have a very interesting problem with Duke now. We seem to be having a Norvell type of issue where, like, we can win, like, every game that matters, but, like, or we win big games that matter that you wouldn't expect us to win, but then we just lose the inconceivable game that you just, like, are scratching your head, and I'm like, how the hell did they lose that game? So, we opened up with a loss to Baylor, a game that I said before I ran the sim that we could lose, and we did, but we beat up Houston pretty bad, and Cal. Picked up a huge win against South Carolina, who at one point was 2-5 on the year, so they had a disaster year, completely fell apart here, finished 500. We beat up on Syracuse, obviously, beat New Mexico, beat ECU and Navy, and Boston College. Just a crazy win streak here. We finally go up to 8-1, and then we lose to Rutgers, who finished 4-9, but they were 1-8 at the time of us losing to them. So they had one win on the year, and we ended up being their second, which kind of spiraled, I guess, a huge second half boost for them, but still, finished 4-9. And then we beat Troy State, and then we lose to Wake Forest after the bye week in Week 14, who ended up having another great season. They won the ACC last year. Looks like they'll probably do it again, potentially, depending on who those two losses are to. So we finished 9-3 for the second straight year with a chance to go 10-3 if we, of course, make it to a bowl game. So now we'll simulate through Conference Championship Week and see the results here from the Heisman voting and see if we get another chance to play in a bowl game, which I would assume we would, being 9-3, being the best, probably the best independent team for the last 2 years, because Notre Dame's had some down years. So, all right, so finally Rice, man, a running back from Rice, Rashad Vann, wins the Heisman, man. Rice is on a generational tear right now. They are just doing the thing, man. They're doing it. I just think it's hilarious. It's funny. Either way. But we do get a bowl invitation. We're going to play the Humanitarian Bowl against Fresno State. I think this is typically for the Sun Belt, right? I think typically a Sun Belt team goes to this. I don't know. But either way, we're going to be playing Fresno State, who looks to be pretty darn good. I don't know if we are in the same in the same hemisphere as the Bulldogs in terms of competitiveness here. I don't know if we can hang there. I'm not sure. Our numbers indicate that we probably could, but we are 44th in the country. They are 14th. So, I don't know. This might actually be a bloodbath. We might not come out on the other side of this one. This might be a bold loss, if I could guess here, but either way. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode of the Duke Blue Devils Dynasty. We're going to continue plugging away here. The only thing that it will derail, or not derail, but just end the series is if I find if I get an offer in the offseason that I want to take, and we'll just kind of take this and continue on like the Fred Kirk coaching legacy thing here. We'll just leave Duke behind and just continue on until we probably either win a natty or something, and then we'll just end it and do something else. Or we'll just continue with Duke until I can win a natty with Duke, and then we'll probably end it. So those are the two possible outcomes here. I don't see this come to a close any other way. So those are the things you're kind of waiting on in case you're like, when is he going to do something else? Or if you're enjoying Duke, then that's, now what the goal is for the series. So we're either going to get another fun job offer here. I wish Cincinnati would come calling again, man. I really wanted that Cincinnati job. I should have taken it. The timing was not right. The timing was not right. We had work to do at Duke. I feel like we've done a lot of the work, and I don't know how much more work could possibly be done here because recruiting has just been a nightmare in the Southeast that isn't Florida or like Alabama. So it's been a nightmare. So, but we'll see what happens after this game here. Hopefully we can win. This would be a huge statement win for the program, obviously. But we'll see all that in the next episode. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next Duke Blue Devils episode.